Let's go. We figured it out. By the way, this is our first. There you go. He's getting ready for you guys because he says he wears hoodies for the calls. But real quick, guys, before I get into bringing him on, I definitely want to tell you guys a little bit about this gentleman. So I met him at the grand opening out in Nodi's office up in San Jose area. Uh, I'll tell you guys, the first time I met him, came with some energy and was like, I'm new, I'm excited. He's been here with us for 2 years now. And he's like, I'm just excited. I want to learn from everybody. And one thing I can tell you guys is that he is super, super humble. If you guys went to the sales conference in Vegas, you guys seen him out of his element. And the reason being is because he had his hair done, he had the makeup on, he was ready to go on TV basically. He had a nice suit and he was like, this is not how I dress. This is not how I work. And he's going to go over all that today with you guys. But before I bring him up, I definitely want to tell you guys this gentleman is doing 80 to 100 policies a month. Personal. Guys, this team is doing about 500 a month right now, which is freaking amazing, right? He's an executive with the company. But I wanted to bring him on because he's doing something with the telesales game. He's only closing over the phone, right? Which is something that, he started. I want to say he's the pioneer to doing that here at Family First Life. Why? Because a lot of when he got here 2 years ago, right? We got here about 3 years ago, and everything was done in person, right? We call people and we say, hey, they have me in your area, Friday and Saturday, what day works best for you? This gentleman said, I'm a family man, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I want to be at home, I want to be able to do stuff with my family. I'm going to make my schedule. So guys, definitely take your pens, your pencils, whatever you're going to write down, your notepads. Heck, if you want to record it on your own, record certain pieces, I highly suggest you do it because I think this gentleman is going to help our agency get to the next level. Because I know most of us do in-home still. Most of us wait till somebody's available, whereas he's helping us. He's going to help us because he's helping his agents do everything from home, do everything from the phone. So without further ado, I definitely want to bring up Harold, the VP of Illuminate. Harold,
Yo,
can you
yo,
hear
yo,
me?
yo.
Perfect. So Harold, if before you get started, if you can kind of introduce yourself to the team and just tell them a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been doing insurance for a little bit of time. I started actually doing insurance in 2009. But I was at a prior company. So I wasn't here. I was at a different company. I was at a practice company. A lot of people come from there that are here at FFL. And we had leads, but it was a specific niche market lead. It was a bait and switch style. So if that maybe gives it away, I don't like to name names, but that's where I was. And I was there for a long time. So I was there for like 12 years. Okay. And I was very comfortable. I had an agency team, writing a lot of business, making money for myself as the manager. As you know, at some companies, you make your money off the backs of your team. And that was where I was at. It was that style where your team writes a lot of business, they make less, I make a lot. It is what it is, right? You're blinded by your own success. And I say that all the time that you only know what you know, right? You only know, and when you're doing well, you don't look anywhere else, and then you get people just start reaching out to you and telling you things because, I know a few people that actually came over here a long time ago and they're bugging me, bothering me, say, hey, come through, come through, come through. And I'm like, no, I'm good. You know me, I'm comfortable. I'm doing well, and never really entertained it. And then when the whole COVID thing started, everything went virtual. So I was in person. I was doing in person for a long time. And then we moved over to virtual, and a lot changed. See, I was at a place where leads was based on where you were at, right? So it was in person. But then when virtual changed, leads changed, right? It became everywhere. You could be anywhere. Well, anywhere that your state director had territory. And I happened to be with one of the state directors that had the most territory. But the thing was is that everybody was dipping into the same, little pot. So you got, just for an example, let's say you have 100 leads, you have 10 agents, but then all of a sudden when, COVID happened, everybody knows it exploded, right? Then you have 20 agents, 30 agents, 40, 50 agents, but it's the same exact lead amount, right? Still that 100 leads. So it was just like lead, I get it, call it, rip through it as many times as I can, and then here, Tony, your turn. It's your turn now. It's new to you. You've never seen it. You've never talked to them, so it's a new lead. And that's how it was, right? And it was just that constant rotation of leads. And at a certain point, you having these conversations with new agents about not making money, it hurts. It sucks. It's not fun at all. And at that point was when I was like at a certain little crossroad, and that's how I met Isaiah. I started talking to Isaiah, and he kind of hit me in the mouth with it and was like, well, you're making a lot of money. Because again, everybody approached me with that same attitude. It was like, yo, come over here, you'll make more money. I was like, I'm good, I'm comfortable, right? You can't move me on money. It's not going to happen. I've already been doing that. But he moved me in a different way, and it was, yo, your team isn't making any money, right? And he was like, where's your bottom guy? Not to say bottom guy, but your guy that's not writing, who's writing the least amount. What are they making? Can they survive off of it? And the answer was no every time, right? It's like no, because it was 50% comp, and it is what it is. It was like, damn, you're right. You kind of hit me really hard, and that's where I was like, all right, let's talk. Tell me what it really is, what it's really like, and that's what really moved me over here, right? And when I first got here, when I met Isaiah, he was like, "Yo, you're gonna have to go back in the field," and I was like, "Yo, man, I've been not in the field for a while." It's funny because I was like, "Yo, I grew my hair out." I was like, "You want me to, go in person?" I was like, "No, I just can't do it." I was like, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I can't do the whole go in the field thing anymore. Drive around. I got kids, I got pickup, I got drop off, I got, kid activity, stuff like that. And I was like, I just can't do that anymore because I was doing virtual. We were doing Zoom at the time. And Zoom has all these little features to make you look prettier and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So it made it a little bit easier. But now, now I'm like, I don't know, I'm not doing that. I wasn't going in the field. I just couldn't do it. And it was interesting because he was just like, nobody does that. I was like, what do you mean? Nobody, like, I don't know. And Isaiah's been here for a long time too, and he's a board member too, and he's just like, yo, I know all the managers out there, and nobody runs just telesales. That's not how it works. Nobody does Zoom. You gotta go out in the field. Maybe they do Zooms for meetings like this, but that's it. Other than that, you gotta go call, knock on doors. Like, man, that ain't happening. So it was rough in the beginning because it wasn't normal, it wasn't easy, right? It's just that old saying of it's not possible until somebody else does it, right? So in my mind it was like, all right, nobody's really doing this, so I have to figure this out. So I went into that mode of like, all right, I have to be a learner. I have to be a student, right? So at first I was like, yo, I got this, I'll figure it out. Don't even worry about me. And I fell flat on my face because it wasn't the same. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, right? For coming from another company, going and saying I have all this experience, I'm good to go, right? And that's just not how it is. It was funny. I was just talking to Tony about it. I was like, I've been in insurance for a long time, but I'm a rookie here. I'm 2 years in. I'm a rookie. I'm new. So coming in, I thought I had that mentality, brought my ego a little bit with me, thinking like, yo, I got this. Fell on my face, didn't know why, was like, I don't get this. I don't get it. I have all this skill that I've developed, but I'm not doing well. Didn't make sense to me. So I had to really take a step back and put myself in a position of like, wait, I'm new. I literally like I was like, yo, I'm tripping. I remember that time too. I was like, yo, I'm tripping. What am I doing? Like you get new agents and you take them, you train them, you teach them, you know all that stuff. You're helping them learn and get better, right? And I'm like, why am I thinking that I'm already there? Like I'm out of my mind. So I literally went backwards and was like, all right, I'm a student. I'm new. I've watched I don't know 3 years worth of videos, 3 or 4 years or something like that. I remember somebody was like asking me where I got pieces of my script from. I was like, yo, I watched a video from Sean Mike doing a presentation. They're like, what? That was like, that has to be ridiculously old. And I was like, yeah, I don't even know how old it was, but I saw it and I watched it like a few times, took a bunch of notes, and I implement stuff in that presentation that he did. Still to this day. That's crazy, right? think like that, right? To think about that, right? So like Sean doing a presentation. So, but I took it. But again, I went back to that student mentality. I failed in front of everybody, right? I got people to come over here and I failed in front of everybody because I wasn't scared to fail because I knew that if I failed in front of other people, people will do the same thing and I can learn from it. Even when Isaiah was watching me present, like talk or listening to me present to clients, he's like, bro, why'd you even say that? And I was like, I have no idea. I was like, it's just habit. He's like, yeah, dude, don't say that. You don't need to do that. I was like, man, all right, what do I got to do? And again, back to student, even though I'm looking at him like, man, I've been doing this longer than you. What do you mean? You know, but no, I'm a student. I'm brand new. I'm fresh. I'm new to this. So tell me what I got to know. And I went into that mentality of becoming a student and learning from everybody. And it's funny because again, you talk about conference, you know, you can learn anything from anybody, period. Right? I look at that. That's how, it's funny because everybody's like, how do you have that many notes from the conference? Because I listened to everybody, not just what they were saying, but the message they were bringing in. And I was, the way they say things, I'm like, oh, wait, I never thought about it that way. Wrote down that note, write down notes. Right? So I will still continue to be a student of the game. If you're not a student, if you don't continue to be a student, you'll never get better here. It's just not possible, you know? So that's kind of what I my beginning looked like. It was rough. It really was. And to me, I had a chip on my shoulder to figure it out. And then I have people that came with me and I had to prove to them that it worked, not knowing it was going to work or whether it will work or not, Again, listening to, you know, Isaiah say nobody does this. You're not going to find any training on it. And like, oh damn. And me just going and saying, don't worry, guys, we got this. We'll figure it out. I know we can do this. Right? It's been done not here, but other people are doing it. What makes it so that we can't do it? Of course we can do it. Why can't we do it? Everybody else is doing it somewhere else. Right? So that
So
that
Harold,
was such
what
a
what was
crazy beginning. Yep.
in the beginning? What was your schedule like? Because I'm sure you probably had to work a little bit more than maybe.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure you're still working a crazy amount of hours to
Yeah.
sell 90 families a month.
Yep.
What would you say your schedule looked like?
I love that question because my answer is interest is the truth is that one thing that every single manager wants to do is replace experience, right? But you can't. It's not possible, right? I cannot go and say, here, let me download 1,000 appointments into your mind. We can't do that. So I can't automatically give you experience. The only way to replace experience is to experience it. So again, student, I was like, well, look, okay, in order to get there faster, I got to see 100 people faster than everybody else. I have to learn faster than everybody on my team. I don't have a choice. So I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can, more hours than everybody else because I have to learn it the fastest, right? And I have to get better faster. So I want to condense my learning time frame, okay? So what a lot of new agents will do is they'll stretch it, and they'll try to stretch it as 6 months to like 9 months. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why don't you just stress yourself out for like 60 days. Like, why don't you really push yourself for 60 days and then you're good? Like, why stretch it for 6 months? That's worse. That hurts. Like, just push yourself immediately. So dude, I'd get up at like 6 a.m. It was crazy because I was doing live transfers, those calls, I'd forget to turn it off, 6 a.m. a phone call. I was like, oh damn. Run to my computer, like, oh God, I gotta answer this, or they're gonna charge me. Answer this 6 a.m. calls. Dude, I was doing whatever I needed to do to learn fast. So I don't necessarily recommend it unless, you've done it before and you can handle that stress. It's rough. But dude, I was doing 6 a.m. to like 8, 9 p.m. for a little bit, like not every single day, but there were a lot of days where I'm 6 a.m. I'm on the phones, boom, getting hit from the East Coast, and then work throughout the day and help train my team at the same exact time. Everybody was listening to me, hearing me, and it's crazy because October was so I started at the end of September, and October was my first real month. I did 42,000 or something like that month. And everybody's like, man, you killed it. And I was like, you guys heard me get hung up on. You guys heard me fail left and right. You heard people tell me no. And then you realize you're like, people will only remember the fact that you won. They're not gonna remember all those people that hung up on you. They're not gonna remember all those times you failed. You got to think like that as an agent. Like, doesn't matter. Nobody's gonna go and be like, oh, but then 10 people hung up on you. Nobody ever says that. Everybody's like, yo, you killed it. 42 policies in your first real month, right? So my schedule was wild, dude. I was doing Saturday mornings until I was like in the morning till my kids woke up, till I got yelled at by my wife, and Sunday the same thing. But what happened was I learned way faster. I kind of killed myself that month just to learn, right? Because I knew I was like, I have to make every mistake. I worked every single lead type. I worked live transfers, filing expense, mortgage. I worked everything you could think of. So I was like, I gotta learn this. So I became obsessed with learning and becoming better so that I can be that person to teach, right? So but you have to do that? No. Okay. I just try to condense it as fast as I possibly can, right? Um, Realistically, you run a proper schedule here, you're fine. You might
So
have to do,
for our newest agents, what would be your schedule today, right? Like, so you went through the grind to learn to
sure,
gain all that experience. What
sure.
would you say your schedule looks like today? So I don't want to scare them off, and they're gonna
Yeah.
be like, "Damn, I gotta
So
work a
no, you don't
thousand
have to
hours."
do
Like,
this. You don't have
and
to
you
do what
don't,
I did at all.
yeah, and you
And
don't have to. But I'll tell you guys real quick. He's talking about condensing instead of waiting a whole year to gain experience. He's telling you just do it in 60 days so that you can now have the schedule he has today, which I'm sure he still puts in work, which go for it.
yeah, yeah. So here's the thing. Here's the difference though. Now versus back then. There's a ton of videos now. There's a ton of training on it. Back then I had nothing to go off of. I was just trying to make it up on my as I go. Now you don't have to do what I have to do, what I did, right? You can run a normal schedule and be fine. You might have to do a little bit of extra, a little bit of off time, like a little bit of extra overtime stuff, but realistically, I have a ton of people on our team who just run a 9 to 6 or 7 o'clock schedule, in their specific time zone. There are some people who want to get up earlier and run a 6 a.m. Go for it. Okay. Drop your schedule 3 hours earlier. That's okay. But you need to run a proper schedule. All right. It's very, very important that you are actually the times you need a hard start and then a soft stop, I guess you could say. Because if a client said, "Hey, I can only meet at 8 o'clock," I'm like, yeah, we're good." I'm like, okay, I'll take it. But I will try to meet with them earlier, right? I say, hey, 6 o'clock or whatever. And it's funny because when I talk to clients, I always go, my shift, my shift, my shift, my shift. Like, oh, what time tomorrow? I start my shift tomorrow at 9 a.m. I end my shift at 7 p.m., which is 10 o'clock your time since you're in the East Coast. So you're fine. I can talk to you all the way up till whatever time works best for you. As long as you're okay with it, I'm okay with it. I'm still working. So you get that mindset of your shift, your shift, your shift, your shift, and you just stick to it, right? A lot of people come from 9 to 5. If you take that 9 to 5 mentality and you just drop it in here, you can't lose if you're running a proper schedule, right? You start at a certain time, end at a certain time. But the thing is this: I have kids. I got it. There's people here who have kids. You know, there's pickup, there's drop off. That's why I actually start at a specific time because that's after pickup and drop off. So I do my pickup and drop off or whatnot, and then my wife, she supports everything I do, and that's also important. If your home is not supportive, you're gonna have an issue. Okay. And I'll address that in a second on how to operate in that manner. So she knows during the day, because she has a very flexible schedule in her job, and she'll be like, let's go to lunch. And I'm like, I can't, right? I say, even though I want to, I would love to go to lunch with you, but I cannot. That is not in my operational guideline to let me go and say, you know what, I'm done. All right, let's go. Let's go to take a 2 hour lunch. Nah, not happening. I have to do what I need to do because I have to hit my goals. She understand? Because if I had a regular job at somewhere else, it's not like I'm gonna be like, yo, boss, I'm out. See ya. I'm gonna go have lunch. That's not how it works. You can't just walk out. Imagine working anywhere, right? A retail store. Yo, I'm gonna go take a 2 hour lunch. I'm out. Like doesn't work like that, right? So if you keep that mentality and you maintain that mentality of, yeah, I'll take a lunch. I'll take a short lunch in general, but I stick to my schedule. She knows like, yo, this is what it is. Sometimes there's oh, I can't pick up. Can you pick up? Which I will hurry up, pick up, and then let my son run wild, in the house. Like, and I'll be like, you better hurry up. I don't know what he broke, so you better hurry up. But I stick to it, and I'm very religious to it, right? So I'm not gonna deter from it. But the biggest thing is you need to find your times. Okay. You need to go and say, yo, I'm gonna anytime, right? Don't think like, oh, I have to do a 6 a.m. I have to do 9. That's you don't have to, but you need to define your schedule clear. It has to be clear. And it also has to be clear to your family and your spouse and everything. So 9 o'clock start, period. I don't care if I have an appointment, don't have an appointment. I doesn't matter what it is. I am here at 9 a.m. period. Not 9:05, not 9:10, not 9:15, 9 a.m. Okay. Because the minute you start shortcutting those things, 9:05, 9:10, 9, it becomes a habit. And then guess what? Turns into 9:30. Dude, 10's fine. Nah, nah. 9. Okay. And when I do miss it, if I do ever miss it, I make up for it. And I go, all right, I gotta stay longer. Okay. But I don't make it a habit, right? Do not make it a habit of pushing, go, oh, okay, I gotta do longer. It's cool. I'll just make up for it because then you're like, oh, I'll just make up tomorrow, maybe the next day, maybe the next day. Don't do that. Stick to your
I-
times,
Is
run your
that what you
schedule.
mean? Is that what you mean by a hard start? Like you're hard on no matter making it happen?
Yep, that's it. 9 a.m. That's it. If my wife says, oh, you gotta run an errand, okay, is it time sensitive? Right? I look at things, is it time sensitive? Meaning I have to do it at that time, or is it something I can do at 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, something I can do at 8 a.m. If it's not time sensitive, then cool, yeah, I'll do it. You're just not gonna get done until 8 o'clock, you know, right? So it's you stick to that schedule. You gotta be strict about it. And again, this is your accountability to yourself. And if you need it, you gotta look at each other. You have a team, hold each other accountable. Okay. Because I have some agents who are like, yo, I need you to help me hold me accountable. Cool. 9 a.m. hits and they're not on. I'm like, yo, where you at? Did you like trip and fall or what? What's going on? You fell down the stairs? What's the deal here? Right. But if they empowered me to do it, that's the only time. If they say, hey, hold me accountable, cool. You ain't gonna like it, but you're gonna like it at the end of the month when you figure out what your issue paid was, you know? So, but stick to your schedule. It's very important. Okay. Go ahead, Tony. I know you had some oh,
Yeah, we
spouse,
definitely
you want
got
me to
some.
talk about family and stuff too?
Yeah, if you can hit on that
Yes.
specifically. So yeah,
Yeah. Okay. My kids know, my spouse knows, my hours, they know there is no interruption unless it's something absolutely specific. For example, my son does jujitsu. Okay. He's not the great. He's 3 years old, so he's just, not the best. But I'm not going to miss it. Okay. I'm not going to miss it, but I'm not going to compromise my work. I'm going to still, if I have to make up for it, I'm making up for it, period. Right? If after jujitsu is done, I go and then I get back to work and then continue my work day, cool, I'm doing it. Or my next day is extended. Those are like things that are exceptions because of course I don't want to miss things. And I get it, people are families, right? You don't want to miss things, right? But you still also have to think about, is this something I can miss or is this something I can't miss? Right? If your child, like again, I have my child, my daughter's for getting an award, oh, I'm going, right? Because she gets to go like this, in the crowd. You can't beat that, right? But those are the things, right? But when it comes to like, oh, we're gonna go to lunch. Oh, she's doing this thing or whatever it is, and I'm like, when they were like, oh, she's doing a parade for Halloween, and I was like, so you're telling me you want me to watch kids just walking? And I was like, that's not on the no, not only her. It's 150 other kids. Nah, dude, no prior. That one, I was like, nope, that's not happening. We're good. I'm not doing that. But you have to again know to when and when not to, and that's hard. It's a hard decision because you want to be at everything, but success doesn't. You can't get there until when you're absolutely successful. You can be at every single thing possible, no
and
problem.
if you were at another job, they would tell you no,
Yeah, you tell me no
regardless.
anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the next thing for the people who have spouses, okay, you have to have that conversation with your spouse and have an understanding of like, this is what I'm chasing. These are my goals. This is what if your spouse doesn't know your goals, you have a problem. Okay. Because they're just sitting there looking at you. All you do is work. All you do is this. You ain't, what about me? Da, da, da. I was there. I've been there. I get it. But if your goals aren't clear with your spouse, like, yo, this is what I'm trying to achieve. And then this is what happens when I achieve it. Right. So, like for my spouse, this is, again, this might be overkill for a lot of people. We take a weekend vacation once a month. Okay. We do something. We go out of town. We're on a plane. We're driving somewhere. We're doing some type of weekend getaway family. Usually, we still have weekend times. Family time is the weekends, of course, Saturday, afternoon, evening, Sundays. But my promise has always been, yo, I'm gonna work. I'm gonna work like this. This is how I have to work because I have a goal. I have things that I'm trying to achieve, and you know what it is. And it's okay, once a month, whatever you want. We go wherever you want. You want to go out of town or whatever, 100% for it. I will not argue with you. Don't care where it is. It could be something I don't even like at all whatsoever. You want me to wear, weird costume for how whatever it is, I'm for it. But that's a promise I made to allow me to be able to do the things I need to do, right? But that's sacrifice and compromise, right? So I do that for that reason. And then ultimately it's like I'm working, I'm, killing it and making good money so that we can do these things, right? Like I want to go to Disneyland and have fun, right? If my kid wants a toy, I'm gonna get it, period. I don't want to sit there and look at it and like, well, daddy didn't really work that hard this last 2 weeks, so yeah, oh, you want that bubble machine? Maybe next time. No. I worked, hey, we're going to Disneyland? Great. I'm gonna work my butt off for these next 2 weeks and we're gonna do whatever we want at Disneyland, eat whatever we want, buy any toys, buy any candy, it doesn't matter, right? That's a reward. And then you see your kids light up, you see your spouse is happy, we good. But again, if you don't put those things in line, I promise you're gonna have a very difficult time here. It
And I
will be
think
hard.
that's what also leads to the 6 month, the 9 month, the year of, do I dial? Do I buy leads? Do I do this? Do I do that to try to gain the experience? But you're battling all the stuff at home, which is why I wanted you to hit on that,
Mm-hmm.
because I think a lot of us on this call have families, have kids, have wives. So I appreciate you being honest about that, because I know
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people don't want to be too honest about it, but you
Yeah.
definitely hit it right on the nose. But leading up to that, what would you say to a new agent, how much their lead flow should be in the beginning, right? Something that they can start with where they might be comfortable. I know getting into leads is uncomfortable, but we
Mm-hmm.
want everybody to get them to start, to build that consistency, right?
Yep. Yep. So my answer is always whatever is the same answer you guys are gonna hear no matter what, right? Every single manager, every single FFL, consistency, right? That's all you hear it every single time. You're like, you need to have consistent flow. You're like, what does that even mean? Right? What does consistent lead flow mean? Well, what it means is you could start with any budget. So we have agents who start with whatever budget it is, but it needs to be consistent. Okay. For example, you need to introduce yourself. So here's the lead strategy that we run. Okay. You have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay. Those are the 4 days that you introduce new, quote unquote, new leads, because we do work aged, but new leads to yourself. Okay. So what I mean by that is you might buy let's say 400 leads on a Monday, right? Let's just say. Okay. But you do not give yourself all 400. Okay. What you do is you introduce yourself 100. Okay. Because one thing that happens when people introduce all those leads is that they get anxiety of like, oh, I have to get through all of these. And then what happens? You get to like number 300 and you never go backwards. You never get back to number one. Right. So you need to have that strategy of 100 on Monday, 100 on Monday. Okay. You can have all the leads set. You just introduce yourself 100. Run through that 100 that day over and over and over and over again. You're going to get your scheduled. You're going to get your I don't want it. So you're going to get the no, whatever it is. You're going to get all that stuff. Bad phone numbers, income, I don't leave me alone, all that stuff, right? So then next day, you introduce another 100 leads. Okay. So instead of the mindset of I need to squeeze these leads, you're like, oh, I'm good. I got another 100 to go. Okay. So now you got another 100 plus whatever you didn't use yes the day before, or the people that you need to call back, and it makes it more manageable, right? To be able to call these things. So and work through them. So then boom, you're doing that. You get the same things, you get your books, you get your note, you're not interested, you get your bad phones, and then Wednesday you get add another 100. And then you do the same thing again Thursday. Now you feel like you continuously keep getting leads, right? You feel like, oh, I'm more leads every day. I'm getting more and more and more and more, right? And then you continue that process. Now, here's the key. You can't stop it, okay? You can't just do it for 1 week and then the following week think like, oh, it's cool. I'm going to squeeze, right? What happens when you squeeze? You get stressed out. You're like, man, I got to make this work. I got to make this work. I hope it works. Oh my gosh, please pick up. Now what? You're working in a position of frustration, okay? You have the wrong mindset. You're negative, okay? And when you're working in a position where you're negative, you don't have the right mindset, you're frustrated, you're angry, you're upset, you don't think the clients can sense that, okay? Because what you do is you compromise your presentation because of your attitude, right? So what you have to do is the following week, do the same thing. Monday, another 100. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, do it over and over again. Again, you can start with any budget. You don't have to do 100. We have agents that start with 50, 50 a day, 50 a day, 50 a day, and work like age leads, okay? And then work your way up, okay? You have to operate in the manner of um like a retail store. I'm a big shoe guy. I see FFL Fearless. I see some shoes behind you. I'm a shoe guy. That's me. I'm a shoe guy. So you have to operate just like this. Let's say you have a shoe store. You have 100 pairs of shoes, okay? You sell 25. What do? You need to restock. Okay. Or let's say you sell 50. You're like, okay, I have 50 left. You don't go, okay, I have 50 left. I'm good. Hopefully people buy these. Like, no, you go and restock. When you restock though, you increase inventory, right? You restock up to 100, then you go, let me add another 20. Okay. Then you sell again. And then you go, okay, let me restock again. Now I'm going to be at 150. Then you sell again, then you restock. Now you're at 200. Now you're at a specific amount that you are comfortable with, right? So you could start with a $500 budget a week or whatnot, and then the next week, if you write business, okay, then you go, all right, cool. My new budget this week, 750, and then you do it. Maybe it takes you 2 weeks to do that, which is okay. Maybe you go 500, 500, and then you go to 750, and then you go back, you go 750 again, and then boom, now I'm at 1,000. Maybe now I'm 1,000, 1,200, then I'm at 15, and maybe I'm at 2,000. If you're at 1,500 to 2,000, you're doing $10,000 a week. Okay. There's no question. You can ask any producer, you're spending that much, you're definitely doing 10,000 a week if you're working it correctly. You got to be working correct. Because here's the thing, as you go, that 100 leads can go from, you know, 1-year-old leads to 9 to maybe 6 months to maybe even 3 months now because you your budget is increased and now you can afford to spend on the newer stuff. That if that makes sense. Okay? So you change, again, you're like, okay, my budget went up, but I'm gonna get newer stuff. My budget went up again. Let me get newer stuff. Keep doing that same process till you're comfortable. And again, 1,500 to two. I know it's in some cases, a lot of people, yeah, that sounds like a lot. Okay. Yeah, but in order to write a lot, you gotta spend a lot, right? You gotta go and say, I mean, again, imagine this. If I said, hey, you give me $2,000 every single week, 2,000 turns into 15 to 20, you gonna do it? Yeah, you're like, yeah, no brainer. Okay, cool. It just requires you to work. Is that okay? It's like you just gotta work. It is what it is. Okay. So you don't have to be ridiculous on your budget. Don't worry. You don't have to go and try to like, okay, I have to spend 1,000 right away. No, it's not true. You can spend $500 and work your way up. The biggest issue that agents have is the consistency part of it. Okay. You cannot buy leads 1 week and then the next week think that you're gonna squeeze. Nope. You go into that squeeze mentality, you're basically just on a downhill motion. Because let's say you're squeezing that week and you don't write that much business, you think the next week you're gonna buy more? No. You're gonna have that bad attitude already. You're gonna be like, ah, I'm good. I'm not. I'm just gonna keep squeezing until I'm gonna squeeze these leads and hopefully 20,000 appears from it. It's like, no, you got to drop more. You got to keep doing it. So again, find that number, keep it consistent, do it over and over and over and over again. Don't change it. Okay. Big mistake that people make.
And then Harold, I did have another question for you. I know you mentioned working different states, right? Do you work East? I know you're in the West Coast, right? You're here in Cali. Do you work other states every single day, or how do you figure out what states you're going to work?
Good question. So I have a lot of states. I have 48 of them. Um, due to agents, number one, that's team. But I specifically go to one state and then I'll run the state until I need to run until I'm like, run through that state like crazy. Then I go to another state. So sometimes I will put, like let's say I'm running Texas and then I'll go and say, all right, you know what? Let me throw into the mix, maybe I don't know, Nevada or something like that, and whatever. But I generally run one state, and then the funny thing is, the people are like, "Why?" Well, I'm tell you the truth, I really suck at time zones. Like when somebody's like, when somebody says like, "Oh, 10 a.m. I'm available," and I'm like, "Yeah, cool, I'm good," and then I'm like, "Oh, damn, that's 7 a.m." I was like, never mind. Like, so that's the thing. That's why, because it's easy for me to I keep it simple. I
Yeah.
keep it simple because I'm like, yo, it's one time zone. But I do work with I do have some lead vendors that I've been starting to work where they just send me stuff in all different time zones and it's like killing me. It's like racking my brain. I'm like, am I available at that time? I don't even know. I'm like, damn. I'm like, whatever, I'll schedule it. Then I look at my schedule. I'm like, yo, I got 3 appointments at the same time. I'm like, damn. Oh well, whoever picks up, who cares? I could just send them a message. Yo, I'm still with a client. I'm running a little behind. I'll call you shortly. Cool with me. I'd rather have too many appointments than no appointments, not enough, right? Because people are like, should I double book? Yeah, why not? They have to pick up anyway, okay? And it's letting them know that you're running behind. And then when I get on the phone with them and I'm like, hey, Tony, sorry about that. I was working with an elderly couple. Unfortunately, when it comes to DocuSign, not everybody's really good at it. And it took them a little bit longer. And, signing on your phone and your screen, they erased it so many times because it wasn't pretty enough. Isn't that crazy? But I dropped that on them. Guess what? Now, guess what Tony thinks? Oh man, I'm gonna have to do a DocuSign.
I'm gonna do something with this guy today. Yep.
Yeah, I got to do a DocuSign with this
Yeah.
guy. So good. That hopefully
Yeah.
that
Good.
answered.
It definitely answers it. My next question would be, for a lot of our guys, they don't really do out of state. So when you do call them, right? Do you just tell them, hey, I'm a state field underwriter in this
Hmm.
state, you
Hmm.
know, or do you
Yep.
just, I'm in California, but I am a state field
Yeah.
underwriter of Texas or Florida, or how does that go?
Correct. I'm a field underwriter for the state of whatever they're in. Okay. And then when they ask, I'm like, yeah, I'm located out of California. They have me work all over the different states. I mean, and then the thing is too, is they're like, oh yeah, that's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, it's basically the luck of the draw sometimes based on your shift. Like if I have an evening shift, yeah, I'm gonna be working a lot of the West Coast. If I work morning shifts, yeah, I'm gonna be working East Coast stuff or West Coast, whatever it is. So I'll tell them that. Like, yeah, it's because I work the late shift. That's why they have me work East Coast because they know I can run for a longer time frame or whatever. But I'll
And
tell
then,
them that if
and
they
then do
ask.
you by any chance, do you, because I know you have a different phone number, right? Obviously from
Hmm.
California. Do you by any chance send out when you're working out of state, do you send like your license and information before so that it pops up on their phone like, hey, this is probably Harold?
Yes.
Do you ever
So
do?
what I do is I send them a message beforehand and go, hey, I'm gonna call you with my office line. This is the phone number. Okay. So I send that to them, and then I if anybody was there at Vegas, I talked about doing a uh website. Okay. You need to have, if you don't have one, do one. They're super easy to do. They're quick. Go to Wix, whatever, but make it professional, make it uniform, make it you. Okay. So can I screen share? Can you enable screen share for me, Mr.
Yeah, let
Tony?
me.
Okay. Okay. So I send my page to every single client that I talk to. Okay. And is it cool? I'm gonna show it. Well, whatever. I'm gonna show it. All
The
right. So
hair. He has long hair, guys.
I do this every single appointment. Okay. So what I do is I go, Tony, I just triggered you a text message. It says meet your personal underwriter. Go ahead and click that link for me. What you're gonna see is you're gonna see me there. You're gonna see my family there. You're gonna see that I'm the pretty one. Okay. And then they laugh. And then I go, yeah, but and then you're gonna see my two kids. I know my kids are cute. They take after me. And then they laugh, and then I go, no, I'm just kidding. It's probably better that they look like my wife, right? And then when they agree, I'm just like, dang, you agree? I'm like, what? Dang, am I that ugly? But I've broken the ice right then and there. The ice is broken because I dropped that on them, right? Then I go, okay, as you can see, if you scroll down a little further, you're gonna see that um, I'm licensed in your respective state. You're gonna see that I've gone through a full federal background check. You're also gonna see that the phone number that I called you with is also the number listed there. You have my email address, okay? You have a picture of me, through and through, okay? So now I have all this stuff, and now my credibility is good. And then here's the thing. Let's say a client says, "Oh, well, how do I look you up?" Right? You might get that once in a while. I get it once in a while. Then they look me up, and then the phone number on my license is the phone number that I called them. So they go and say, "Okay, yeah. So if you look me up, da 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 da. Okay, you see the phone number on there? Same exact phone number I just called you with? Yep. Okay, cool. Everything matched all the way through and through. No credibility problems because everything that we went through, they see me, they see I'm a real person all the way through the process. Okay. So yeah, that's important. Get that credibility out of the way. Make sure you do that. Um, my area code, as far as like my phone number, nah, I don't change it. So I know we have like different, everybody has like different like ringy and all that stuff. Um, I don't change it. I really don't. It's funny because everybody's like, I gotta keep changing my phone number. It's like, for what? I use the same number. What does it matter? Like, I don't, what does it matter? The same number every single time. Send them a text message. What I like, what is it? It's fine. Because then all of that stuff matches, right? Because you don't want it to be where you send them your page, there's a phone number there, different from the one they called you. Then they look on this department website, different phone number than they called you. They're like, yo, is this really you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, that's me. Like, I swear. Why are all the phone numbers like three different phone numbers? Like, no, everything's the same, very uniform. Keep it the same. Simple. There's no question about it. But this is what I use for credibility every single time to start.
Awesome. Awesome. And then real quick, I know you guys are building a team, right?
Uh-huh.
And sometimes when I guess when we get in that producing, helping families into the crusade where we're only doing that, right?
Hmm.
We don't think about recruiting and building a team, right? You guys are
Yeah.
obviously building a team and you guys are writing business at a very, very high level. What do you do on social media or what do you do when you're out?
Yeah.
Or what do you put out there to be building a team? How do you recruit? I
It's
definitely want to
funny.
know
That's why I was bugging you.
that.
I was like, oh, I gotta talk to this dude. I gotta bug him on recruiting. But for us, it's social media. It's all organic. We post everything that was going on. We highlight each other. The thing is that you gotta highlight each other, right? So we post each other constantly. Like whatever somebody else is doing, we post it. Somebody had a good day, we post them. Okay. The thing is that everybody, the people that are watching, the thing is this: somebody's always watching you. Okay. And it's crazy because they might not say anything until 6 months later. And I've had people do that. And they go, yo, I've been watching you for 6 months. Yo, I'm ready. Right. But if you keep it consistent, keep posting stuff, keep posting, show your success, show what you're doing. Like, yo, I like Odie. I've been watching Odie forever. I probably have never really had a conversation with, but I watch everything this guy posts. I'm like, dang man, these guys are really buff, dude. I'm over here eating really good and eating, eating. I'm like, man, this guy, he's good. I don't. But somebody's always watching. I promise you. Okay. Post your success. Post how you live. Okay. I get a lot of posts because people are like, man, how do you eat like this? Why are you always on a plane? Why are you always traveling? How are you able to go places with your family all the time? And and I'm posting that I'm writing business too at the same time. They're like, how is this even possible? Well, this is just how I do it. I put together a proper schedule for myself, made promise to my wife, said this is what we're gonna do, this is how I'm gonna operate. And people will ask you these questions because they want to know how you're living, how you're doing. But you got to be honest on there. You got to be real. Don't post these fake pictures. Don't put yourself in front of somebody else's Lambo, and you ain't gotta do any of that stuff.
So like
You
if
got to
you're
be real.
traveling from California to Texas to Michigan to Florida to
Yeah.
Japan and back, like we gotta know about this, right?
Yeah.
Like we have to be able to see this.
Yeah. Do
Oh,
it. Why
especially if you
not?
do it like in a 10-day
Well, dude,
span,
I'm
right?
with my family. they're like, yo, you're always with your family traveling, and everybody's like, yo, what the heck?
Yeah.
How? Right? I get a lot of that because I get a lot of families. They're like, how are you able to do this plus spend time with your family and do this? Because I like I said, I post everything that I'm doing all the time. I don't care if it's spammy, I don't care if anything, but people will always ask me those questions. How do you eat so good? How is it that you're working? I see you working, and then all of a sudden you're eating hella good, and then you're working again, then you're eating really good, and then all of a sudden you're with your family. You're all doing. This is how I created this, right? I had the power to create this life, right? And just put in the work. That's all it
So
is.
let me ask you another question. How would you say FFL, because you were with another company for
Yep.
basically 12 years,
Yep.
how would you say your life is much different now, to where it was then?
I love this question too. This is deep. I'm gonna go deep a little bit on you guys. So I was at the last company. It was very stressful. Okay. Because it was hiring, your bonuses were based on hiring new agents and getting them to sell immediately. Okay. Whether they stuck around was not the issue. Okay. They just wanted you to get a new body in with new business on that new body, and that was it. If they stuck around, great. If they didn't, oh well. Okay. So it was very stressful because my bonus was based on that. Okay. So at a certain point, you get to a point in your life, I guess you could say, in your maturity level, where to me now, the most important thing is peace. Okay. I'm all about peace. Peace is so important to me. What I mean by that is if I'm stressed at work, it's not peaceful. When that peace is destroyed, what happens at home? That peace is also destroyed. Okay. So I have to feel good about what I'm doing. I have to have a good conscience, right? I don't want to have to just keep hiring people just because I have to, just to keep my bonus. It's not peaceful. Okay. So now I'm all about maintaining peace, right? Because I want to have a good work-life balance, good family. If family is good, work will be good. If family is bad, work is bad, right? Because what happens is what you argue with your spouse left and right, and then you go to work and you think that's your escape. You go, well, I'm gonna escape to work, but reality is now you brought your bad attitude here. Can't do that. Can't do that. So more important to find peace. That's how I look at things. Find peace. Is it going to bring me peace or is it going to make me stressed out? Going out and partying, is that going to give me peace or is it going to stress me out the next day when I'm tired and I'm hungover? I'm going to stick to my peace. Okay. So I know that's a deep, deep style answer,
Definitely, that's
but,
definitely deep,
but
but it's true. And my wife, as soon as you said peace, I found peace, and she was like, "Yep," and we found 100%. It was insane when we came here. We found peace, and
yeah,
FFL has definitely changed our life. And I wanted to ask that because I think we're so appreciative coming from where we came from the past company to where we're at today. Um, I personally don't even think we're taking advantage of FFL. I
correct.
personally don't even think we're doing like bro, you're about to do a million by yourself. Like I don't know if you guys even understand that. Like he's about to do a million by himself, right? He's about to join the $1 million club. But there's only I want to say like 4 or 5 guys in FFL who have ever done that, which is 100% respect to you and everything you're doing, right? And he says like I'm eating this way, and I'm traveling, I'm doing this. That's probably why you're not ripped like Odie, right? But I
Yeah,
bet you, the dad bod, you're living life and you're enjoying
yeah,
it. But I just, I want you. I don't know if you can pour maybe some vision for some guys that don't
yeah,
even think it's possible. We
yeah,
got a guy right here, Xavier. He's brand new to the team. He's waving. He got his daughter with him.
yeah.
What kind of advice can you give him to just like broaden his his vision into what this industry, what
Yeah.
FFL can really do for him?
Cool. This is gonna be a kind of a long-winded answer. Hey man, I still go to the gym, Odie. Relax, bro. I still go to the gym. I go to the gym, not probably not like you, but actually, what's crazy? People are like, you go to the gym, why are you not hella yoked? I was like, well, I go to the gym, number one. Obviously, I still want to try to do something, but I actually learn the most in the gym. I don't listen to music. I audiobook. I listen to YouTube videos. I learn the most there because it's focused learning, by the way. So everybody's like, yeah, go to the gym. Like I go there because I it's learning. Everybody else is doing it a different way sometimes. They go, oh, listen to music, it's all crazy. And I'm like, nah, you're tripping. You should be learning there. Yeah, you should be
Oh,
just downloading stuff to your mind. Now,
Harold,
go
you
ahead.
got to stop going to Planet Fitness because they give donuts and pizza out. So I know that's probably where you're going.
All right, so brand new agent. All right, so like, look, as a brand new agent, it's overwhelming, right? There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a bunch of people. You see a bunch of success. You got to understand something. 2 years ago, I was brand new. I was brand new here. I was doing something that I brought to the table a concept that they said was not possible. Okay, they said nobody does that. It's not going to happen. Even Andrew Taylor told me that. Okay, it was like, you still got to go in the field. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So, so the path has already been paved because now a ton of people do virtual. A ton of people. People are doing Zoom, people are doing telesales. The thing is here is that you don't have to reinvent anything because it's already been invented. Even my presentation, a lot of the things that I pulled was stolen. I took everything. I told you guys earlier, I use a piece from Sean Mike's presentation and I still use it to this day, right? So don't try to reinvent anything because it's not necessary here. You really don't have to reinvent. Okay. Now, just to broaden your vision here. Okay. The reason why why I love this industry, why I do what I do is this. Okay. For me, at the end of the day, like for income and all that stuff, like dude, I could sleep on the couch, bro, for all I care. I mean, for me, I don't care. As long as I eat good, have fun, I can sleep on the couch. It wouldn't matter. But my wife, my kids, it's not how it works. Not how it works. They gotta sleep on nice, comfy beds. You know what I mean? And eat good too. So the thing is, how I look at it is, yo, I'm building a legacy for my family. It's not me. Who cares about me, right? I come from an immigrant family. It wasn't their fault, right? Because they come from another country. They didn't know any better. All they knew was to work hard. That was it. But now I'm here. I have the power to change the trajectory of my family. 100%. Okay. So if I don't change the trajectory, that's my fault. Okay. It wasn't like how my parents came here. They didn't have college. They didn't have anything like that. They come from the Philippines, man. They don't know nothing. They came over here, learned English, and tried to figure it out. But I'm already here. I grew up here. I have the power to change. Okay. And if I don't, I have failed. Right. So it's giving your family all the things that you wish you would have had. And again, I do what I do because of residual. Okay. Everybody looks at this as oh, upfront, upfront. It is upfront. It's great. Upfront money is great. Okay. But the most powerful money you can ever make, period, is passive income. Okay. There's nothing that can beat passive income, period. Okay. All the clients that you're doing, you're writing policies for, you will continue to keep getting paid on that. Okay. How crazy is that? Somebody you saw 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever, you keep still getting paid on it. Isn't that's wild? Okay. People who do real estate, not knocking real estate. You sell the house. That's it. You don't get paid again. You don't get paid every time they pay the mortgage. Okay. But here it's that exactly that long-term thinking. Exactly. Right there. Long-term thinking. If you're thinking about this short term, which is okay. Sometimes there are people who short term, which I've seen, short term, make some money and then go do something else to follow your dream. I'm 100% for that too, right? You want to be an artist or something like that and you need $250,000 and this is the place that's going to get you there, great, do it. Possible. And you know what's going to happen in return? When you do leave, guess what? You still keep getting your renewals. Okay. But you're going to be leaving a legacy to your family. That's what you have to look at, right? You're taking away time from your family, okay, to do this. And if you are not doing what you need to be doing during that time, you're wasting time. It's not fair to your family, right? Not fair to your kids, not fair to your spouse. You already took time away. You need to do something productive with it. Don't just sit there and twiddle your thumbs. It's pointless, okay? You need to maximize the time that you've taken away because guess what? Later on, your family will thank you, I promise, okay? Because when you take, again, it's not a money thing, but when you take better vacations, okay? I'm not like 21 anymore. It's funny, like, yo, fit a bunch of people, go to Vegas with like 5, 6 people in one room. Yeah, I don't know, not doing that. Okay, not fun at all. Yeah, I used to do that. All y'all laughing, y'all did it. Okay? But that's the thing. You elevate your life, and what happens? You elevate your kid's life, you elevate your family's life. things change, right? Like, for example, like we have the Bahama trip, or the cruise
Yeah.
going on. Um, I'm taking my whole family. I literally sent out a message to my whole family, hey, I'm going to Bahamas. Do you want to go? Everybody gets to go. And they're like, what? The company's paying for everything? I was like, yeah, yeah. Company's paying for everything. Don't worry. You guys all get to go. And they're like, yeah, I'll go, I'll go, I'll go. And then, some of my family couldn't go and whatever it may be. You know, but I'm paying for everything. To me, this is how I look at it. This is it's a reward for me because I'm taking the trip, but it's also a reward for my family for sacrificing, right? But it's powerful, right? Because like I'm taking my in-laws, my brother, girlfriend. I don't care. I just, pay for everything. It's all good. Everybody gets to go, but it's a reward. Okay. Because I took away this time. But again, that comes from working your butt off. Okay. Doing what you need to do. Okay. So you got to understand the long-term goal here, right? And this quote, and I think I said it at conference too. This is quote, and I see it every single day. I've always had this quote. I've always looked at this, and it's on like one of my notebooks that I use every single day, and it says, "You cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future." That's Steve Jobs. Okay. So I get it. You're starting brand new. And again, this was key for me in the beginning too. Starting brand new. And I always thought about it like this. Look, 1 year from now, I'm going to look back and I'm going to be like, yo, all that hard work got me here. 2 years, I'm going to look back. All that hard work got me here. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And I know that if I keep with that mentality, because right now I'm in my second year, or just finished my second year, guess what? 1 year from now, I'm going to look back and go, man, good thing I killed myself to get there. Boom. And then the year after that, oh man, our team grew, it doubled. Good thing I worked that hard. Boom. Now I get to live how I want to live and enjoy my life the way I want it to be. But it takes it's hard, right? Again, because you want to quit. Trust me, I wanted to quit more times than anybody else. Because when it gets hard, you want to quit, right? But again, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking back. You have to understand that all of those dots, all those little small micro smart decisions that you made to become successful will connect, and you will be fine. Okay. I never would have imagined I would have had this much business written. Never, never. In my last company, I think for over the 10-year time, 12-year time frame, I think I had over maybe like about 1.2 million or something like that, or 1.3 million of business written, like over 12-year time frame. I'm gonna do that in a year. Isn't that wild? I would have never imagined that though, right? I would have never imagined it being possible. Okay. And you don't want to know what's crazy? We all sit here and think like, oh yeah, a million is a lot, of millions. 2 years from now, everybody's like, oh, you just did a mill? Oh, that's cool. Like, oh, we did five. I did five this year. Oh, I just did 10. I promise you that's what it's going to be later. All it is going to keep going up because we used to think 100,000 was a lot back in the day. 200, then three, then somebody did four, then somebody did five. Again, it's not possible until somebody else does it. When somebody does it, you're like, oh, okay, I could do it too. But again, for me, same thing. Saw all these people doing it. I'm like, yo, what makes them better than me? Nothing. And it's funny because I think I told who did I tell? I think I told you this story too. I remember Odie when at Livermore, he was talking to me, my brother-in-law went with me, and a friend went with me, and he was talking to me. He's like, "Yo, if I could do this, dude. Anybody could do this. You guys could do this." I remember he went up in front of everybody, told everybody like, "Yo, I'm an immigrant. English isn't his first language. Like, yo, I'm doing this. I'm working. I'm working hard to get to this." And I'm like, and again, you get that thing that just sparks, and you're like, yo, he's right. Shit, dude, I can do this too. My bad language, but I can do this too. He's right. So it's like you can do it. You just need that little bit of push, and that's what for me it was Odie. I was like, man, this is dope. I was like, I'm gonna like this because that was when I was brand new. I was really new, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna like this. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do what I gotta do to get here. So you gotta have that belief in yourself, okay? And you gotta understand you are a result of your own decisions, okay? And you decide whether you succeed or fail. Okay. And when you do hit adversity, you make the decision to either overcome it or succumb to it. Right. You could either let it be like, all right, whatever, I give up, I'm done. That's a choice. Okay. Right. Everything is, again, this too shall pass. Whatever issue you have, whatever thing you got going on in your life, I promise you it'll pass. Okay. Money doesn't buy you happiness. Everybody wants to find out on their own. I know that. And this is a good place to do
Absolutely.
it.
Well, Harold, man, I know we definitely probably went over a little bit of time,
Oh yeah,
but
my bad,
I
my bad.
no, I appreciate you, man, even taking the time to, spend an hour with us,
Yeah.
to drop all this information and knowledge. I know people are probably expecting us to go over like your script and stuff, which we have it, and I appreciate it. But I hope you guys took a lot of value from him and everything that it actually takes. It's not necessarily the script; it's the amount of time you put into the script and learning how to overcome life's battles, let's just say.
Yeah.
Harold, definitely, I mean, we're indebted to you, man. I can guarantee you, we start doing the numbers that I believe we're going to start doubling our numbers. That's how confident I am with the information that you gave us today. Everybody on here super pumped. Everybody was super pumped to get on. We have this recorded, so this is definitely going to go out to the team, just to hear, because it's something that we don't hear every day, and it's something that we don't hear very often. So I appreciate you dropping all the wisdom and knowledge that you have over the last 2 years with us here at FFL, and your industry expertise. So I appreciate you, brother. If there's anything
Dude, get me
we
back
can
on.
do,
Get me back on, bro. You want me to go through a workshop on presentation and
my
stuff?
guy,
I'm
we
for
might
it.
we might bring you
Yo,
down to Bakersfield, to the
yo,
Bakersfield office. We might
yo,
do a
I'm
boot camp
I'm
with you.
I'm for it. I'm for it. Let me know. I'm for it. I'm all about giving back because somebody gave it to me, right?
Absolutely. And then we actually may need you to come back on, and then maybe we'll have Odie or Cynthia translate for you, because I know the Spanish team is like,
I know.
the Spanish team definitely wants you.
Yeah, I did go to the San Jose office, guys, and I was sitting there like, it's all in Spanish, man.
Yeah, but we kind of translated for him, but he was
Yeah,
like, everybody was like, "What's this guy doing here?" And he's like, "I don't speak a Spanish, my guys." But we made it happen, and I appreciate you even showing up and learning more about annuities. But definitely, hopefully, we can help you in that area. But
yeah,
outside of that, brother, I appreciate you. And if you got to call in a favor to get Odie to take you to the gym and figure something out, Odie's willing to help out. I know.
I
He
don't know
said
if I
for
could
sure, bro.
handle that, dude. I've seen his videos. I'm like, yo, he's about to
You're
be
gonna have to.
benching me.
He's gonna take you to the mountains to hike out there with the vest and stuff.
Oh man, cool. Hey
But
man, let me get back on, dude. Telling you, just tell me the time, dude. I'll get back on with you guys.
oh
We'll
no,
run through a
definitely.
presentation and process. I'm for it, dude.
All right. Well, Harold, appreciate you, and I appreciate your family for letting you borrow you for us this evening. So again, Harold, appreciate you,
Yeah,
and for the team, I'll tell you guys that, I mean, we're not gonna take any more time. We took an hour, so I appreciate everybody jumping on. Go in the group chat, put some value you guys got from Harold, so everybody can see that missed out, and we'll post it later. But appreciate everybody for being on. Harold, thank you
thanks,
again
guys.
so much. You guys have a good night. Actually, I have something to say. Shoot, my bad. I forgot to tell you guys, we're gonna have on November 20th a Teamsgiving here in Bakersfield. Get here early. We're gonna dial in the morning on a Monday. Harold, you're more than welcome to come too. We're gonna be here Monday morning dialing, and then from noon to 2 o'clock, we have a facility here in Bakersfield down the street from the office. It's a indoor duplex. So bring your soccer skills, because we're gonna play soccer for anybody that wants to play, right? I know most of you guys probably don't do too much activity, but Marco, you're gonna have to come all the way from Florida. But we'll be there for about 2 hours, reserved, and then we'll be at the office, which is again down the street, and then we'll have potluck and food and stuff like that to get together with the team. So wherever you guys are at, more than welcome. We'll have the flyer posted on the group meets and stuff. Harold, again, you're only in San Jose, so it's like a 3 hour drive.
Yo, yeah, maybe I'll look into it. Hey, I played soccer for like 15 years.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, random fact. And then
Random
you
fact.
you realize that you're too short to play, and then you're like, all right, I guess I'm done.
So you were not the goalie.
Nah,
No, but yeah,
maybe I'll take
guys,
you up
just
on
so
that.
you guys know. Yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know on the call. And we'll keep telling you guys up until the 20th. So we'll shoot that out to you guys. You guys are all more than welcome to come. We'll see you guys. Have a good night.